Hello, Marco.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag. Okay, I think we can wait 1 minute and then we can start to see if more people join. Thank you. Okay, I think we can start. Okay. Okay, we will start. So thank you very much for joining to this IETF meeting. Notice that this meeting is aligned with the note well. So please read it carefully. We will not read here. Okay. About the agenda, we're going to provide some reminders, and then we will go through the IETF, IoT groups overview, and then some new activities planned on that IoT environment. And if someone wants to provide some other SDOs updates. Okay, so please add your name here in the attendees section. So about the IoT Directorate reviews, some comments? Remos, do you want to, Aris, if you could mute, please? Hello. Thank you. Okay, about the IoT reviews. So we kindly ask you to consider to review the drafts that we assign to you. We understand that some people are not expert on that draft, but we expect a general overview of the draft with the knowledge that you have. We always try to do our best effort assignment, so please consider to accept or reject as soon as possible as well. So we can assign it because sometimes the review has 2 weeks slot. So if we need to assign to several people, the time for the review is getting shorter. So we appreciate that you let us know as soon as possible that you can or cannot do the review. And also on Tuesday, the IoT Directorate with other areas will gather for lunch so we can share some knowledge between us. Eric has sent the invitation and one form to fill. So if you want to participate, please inform Eric or fill the form. Actually, fill the form and then inform Eric. Okay. Comments or questions? Okay. So we'll start with the review of the IoT groups. 6LO, Carles?
Okay, hello everyone. 6LO will meet in Dublin. We currently have 6 working group documents. One of them is in the RFC editor queue. That's the IPv6 and the multicast address listener registration draft. Then we have 2 working group documents which are quite advanced. Path-aware semantic addressing, PASA for LLMs, and IPv6 prefix registration. For both, there were a couple of early reviews received and the drafts were updated. So the 2 documents are possibly getting ready for working group last call. And there's also transmission of ship compressed packets over 15.4 networks. This time the draft has been updated, but it's a rather minor update because we aim to align with the SHIC architecture draft. However, it's kind of a moving target, the SHIC architecture draft. And yeah, we need to wait a bit until this other draft stabilizes. And then also there's the transmission of IPv6 packets over optical wireless communications, which has been updated. And finally, we have one new working group document, which was adopted since the last IETF meeting. And this is entitled Generic Address Assignment Option for 6LoWPAN ND, which allows a node to request to be assigned an address. So any comments?
Okay, thank you very much, Carles.
Thank you.
Thank you. Comments or questions? No. Okay, ACE, long and added team. Someone wants to provide some update on ACE? Okay, Anima, Shane Turles. Someone wants to provide some update on Anima?
Anima has a number of documents in very long working group last calls, lots of cross-document issues. So progress is slow, but there's progress.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Michael. Comments? Okay. SDF, Michael?
ASDF will meet in Dublin at 121. Our SDF document is, I believe, is in AD review, if I'm right, Karsten, waiting for some revision. But we'll make it, I guess, probably by the end of the year to the ISG. We adopted the NIPSI document, which is the non-IP device control document in June, I think it was. There is a proposal for a digital twin document. I think that's a little bit more nebulous as to what it means in the end. And we will discuss it in Dublin. And I anticipate we will adopt some document before the end of the year.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Michael, comments or questions?
Maybe one more extra comment. So in the hackathon, we will have a NIPSI SDF related hackathon project. So they will be taking a closer look how these two technologies work together.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Adi. Sibor?
Yes.
Christian?
Yep. Hackathon was a good cue. We will not only meet in Dublin for 1 hour during the working group, but we will also have some activities in the hackathon related to Pact CBOR. For general overview, we have published our C9581 based on the CDate work on time tags. We did not meet too often during in between the last IETF now because there was not too much on the agenda, but a lot of things got done in design team meetings and off list. Our general work is always a split in CBOR and the CBOR related languages. On the CBOR side, the active areas are deterministic encoding and Pact CBOR, for which there is now an implementation draft. So if you're curious about how well that would work for your application, now is the ideal time to either just play with it or to join us at the hackathon and play with us with CBOR Pact to get it into, to verify that it is really in a shape where we can go on with it. On the side of the languages, there is work on EDN literals, which had a bit of a setback at IETF 120 with comments we received in the process about how the ABNF best works. This is on the way towards being sorted out, but that means a lot of editorial things that is about to be, that is in progress, and that will hopefully also make progress during IETF 120. And that also stalled work on EREF, another extension for making things more usable there.
You may want to mention that we decided we were going beyond the original idea for this document. The original idea was to document an extension, and people said they finally wanted to have a specification that has all the content of the existing specifications in there, a roll-up document, and yeah, now that is a bunch of editorial work that is ongoing.
Yeah, thanks for adding that. The other language we're working on is CDDL, which just describes general classes of CBOR documents. One document there is in Auth 48 about updating grammars, basically providing fixes and paving the way towards what used to be called CDDL2, which is more like now more taking a more evolutionary path. The extension points are also being exercised in CDDL control, well, in CDDL more control, which is already submitted, and CDDL modules is what part of that evolution path, quote unquote, CDDL2, which still is stuck in socket handling, which is a technical detail. People are working on it. It just needs to be sorted out before this can be final. Yep, I'm summarizing. Meet us at 121, especially at the hackathon. Let's try things out. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Christian and Karsten. Comments or questions? Okay, Cor, Marco?
Hi, everyone. Yes, since the July meeting, we published RFC 9595, and that's one of the remaining core conf documents, so 2 more to go. And one of the documents that was already approved by then already progressed with the RFC editor is now in Auth 48. And that's about using EDOC with co-op and OSCORE. I highlighted here 6 more working group documents that are at different advanced stages in their process, waiting for Shepherd Red Up or beyond or approaching working group last call. And we have adopted recently 2 more documents. One is a short, simple one, ALP and ID, that stands on its own, but was instrumental for progressing in a good way. Another working group document, DNS over co-op. And the second one is CoreClar for friends, or corrections and clarifications for co-op. That was the result of accumulating reported issues, errata, or experience on co-op, and putting those together with a resolution and clarifications in a single document. Summarizing further below some selected activities in the working group and working group documents, and there was an update in a body of works related to group communication in different flavor, and especially the 1st and 4th documents mentioned here hopefully should be completed soon. And other updates involved topics related to the OSCORE security protocol as to key update or its use with proxies, DNS over co-op, and the companion document that I mentioned before. Also related to that as a relevant use case, co-op transport indication, and CoreClar that I also mentioned above. On individual submission, I can definitely mention 2 documents on transporting co-op on alternative transports than the historical UDP, so GATT or the bundled protocol, and also a new individual submission, a stateless variant of the OSCORE security protocol. So we'll meet in Dublin for a 2-hour session on Tuesday, and we'll resume with interim meetings, well, with a full series early next year, but before then we plan a one-off meeting on December 18, and this is all alternating with CBOR as usual. That's all I had.
Great. Thank you very much, Marco. Comments or questions? Okay. Jose? Ivalo, Matthew, Michael? Someone can provide some updates on Jose? Okay. DetNet? Low? Janos? Okay, we thank you that they provide some information. We will not read, but just be aware that, okay. Just text provide, yeah. Okay. IoT Ops. Alexei, Henk? Someone can provide updates on IoT Ops?
There's a minor rechartering active right now, or about to start. So if there are things that you think that IoT Ops ought to do that was not in its charter, then now would be the time to discuss it. Well, at the meeting in Dublin.
Great. Thank you very much, Michael. Additional comments or questions? Okay, thank you. Lake, Melissa, Stephen? Someone can provide updates on Lake? Okay. Rats, Kathleen, Nancy, Ned? Someone can provide advice, a status update on Rats? Okay. Bowroll, we are going to meet at the next ITF with 1 hour slot. IOTDIR REPL and DAO projection. Well, IOTDIR REPL was submitted to the ISG and got a review back of our area director. So the issues are in progress to be fixed. DAO projection has been submitted to the ISG. RNFD as well has been submitted to the ISG. Enrollment priorities, next 4 working group last call. There are some open issues, and when they are closed, we will submit it alongside with the write-up. Then as well, we are going to, we have work in progress MOPEX, NSA extension, and role capabilities as well. And we are going to discuss about the minimum, probably minimum chartering as well. Comments or questions? Okay, Chic, Alexander, Pascal, or someone can provide an update on Chic?
Well, perhaps some quick update. Chic will meet in Dublin, and there have been a couple of interims since the last ITF. There seem to be 2 documents that have been updated recently. One is the 8824 update, and the other one is using Chic for compressing ICMP v6 headers. And there has been some discussions around the Chic architecture, which, however, haven't yet been materialized into the document.
Great. Thank you very much, Carles.
Okay.
Additional comments or questions? Okay. Skim, Aaron, Nancy, or someone that if can provide an update on Skim? Okay. Skit, Hannes, John, or someone can provide update on Skit? Okay. Sweet, David, or someone can provide update on Sweet? Okay. Tip, Tiru, Nancy, or someone can provide update on Tip? Okay. So about RTF, Koi, Jeffrey, Eve, Marie Jose, or someone can provide update on Koi? Okay. I think to see special group, Ari or Karsten?
Yes, so I think Archie, we will have a physical meeting at the IETF. It's been quite some time. We had physical meeting during the IETF week. We have had mainly interims and online meetings recently. But we have a set of activities planned there, and they're about the split between the data and interaction models. And so, of course, this close relation to the ASDF working group work in our current work. And also we'll be looking at these architectural aspects of security. And here there's a close relation to work in the core working group and also in the IoT and security related groups. We have a set of research group documents. They are progressing slowly but steady. We hope to see a few of them towards last call, let's say any day soon. But as usual, we progress at a low pace.
Great. Thank you very much, Ari. Additional comments or questions? Okay. So about the new plan activities in the IoT environments, do you have some updates or comments that you would like to do? Okay. About other SDOs, IoT Security Foundation, I think Michael?
Hi, the annual conference was yesterday, not as well attended maybe as other years. It's the 10th conference, 9 years, people say, fence post issue. And there's a lot of conversation about that device identity certificates are no longer a optional thing where vendors feel there's a lot of pushback for doing them. It's now, how do we get it done without, how do we get it done cheaply and simply? And to that end, there's some perhaps some best current practices, but really it surrounds around a little bit of marketing and public knowledge of what's going on. And I think there will be some kind of a marketing heavy forum that may be created around that. And of course, that's what the IETF usually doesn't do a very good job of marketing. So that's in its formative stages. And if you are interested in that, it will probably be open, not member only. If you're interested in, please talk to me. Yeah, there's a lot of evangelism to be done here.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Michael. Comments or questions? Okay. Any other business? Okay. So thank you very much for your participation. I think we can conclude the meeting. And I hope to see you in Dublin. Have a nice trip. Ari, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I hope to see many of you in Dublin, ladies in the lunch.
So question, Inez, how many people responded to your doodle poll?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Many more than are here today?
Yeah. I think
so I guess
yeah.
It would be good to understand why they didn't come to this meeting. Was it timing? Was it lack of interest? Was it travel? Was it maybe we're doing this wrong?
Yeah, that's a good point. And one thing I was wondering, maybe people miss the email, do the email overload these days. So we could consider sending the calendar invite so it shows up people's calendars.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. But I guess they probably also missed the invitation to lunch then, right? Or maybe they're more interested in food.
That could also be.
All right. Well, I think this is a topic to talk about over lunch.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the email for lunch was sent by Eric, no by us.
Yeah, but if they're not reading their email, then they're not reading their email, right?
Yeah.
So I think one thing that we need to cultivate is that, excuse me? One thing we need to cultivate is that people actually have this meeting in their calendar. So by subscribing to the data tracker meeting calendar, you automatically get it in your calendar. Otherwise, I would have forgotten this meeting as well. I know at least one person who just told me they forgot this meeting. So I think we need to work on that a little bit.
Janos, do you want to say something?
Yes. Sorry, I had to talk on the other call. But if you want, I can give a brief verbal update on that now.
Yes, please.
Which is quite based on what we have in the notes already. So actually, the very hot topic for us is the working group last call on the control airplane framework, which is a bit older document, kind of would be part of the .NET first package of RFCs, but this is the one lagging behind. And I don't expect that much discussion, or I don't think it's controversial. We are getting already positive feedback on going forward. And the other one is the raw architecture, this is a second working group last call. We already had one for both working groups when RAW was still a separate working group. And there have been quite some discussions and changes in the document, a lot of updates, and hopefully this will be sort of the last working group last call, and we will be moving on. But on that one, I actually expect comments and updates that would be needed. And yeah, the one on IETF last call, the raw technologies, like that's done from working group perspective. So there is a smooth fine polishing going on. That's there in the notes already. What is on IETF last call. And the other topic I did not really want to link that's happening is the new queuing proposals and corresponding taxonomy discussion, which is progressing very slow. So there will be some updates on the still at individual contribution level. That's why I did not want to add it to the notes, honestly, all the solution proposals, and there will be updates from the contributors at the coming IETF. And perhaps the working group will get more time to work on those items when getting done with other ones. That's, I guess, the color I would add.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, Janos. Comments or questions? Okay. Henk, do you want to provide some input?
I try to. Yeah, sorry for my dark cave.
No problem.
The screen's looking eerie. Yeah, but it's Halloween soon. So hi there. This is Henk. I can update on an IoT related thing, of course. This is IoT Ops. IoT Ops has a scheduled meeting, and in this group, I can, of course, disclose that we are intending to recharter IoT Ops to include more than non-technical work. So standard track documents were out of scope with the dispatch function. There was always a discussion about, can you be both? Can you be dispatch and also cherry pick? That was a straight no 4 years ago. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore. So what we're taking on is only a tiny bite out of the OPSA area working group, and that is the MUT and IoT related stuff. That always ends up in OPSA, and it's the two usual suspects are there, but the IoT folks typically are not. They are actually joining IoT Ops more. Those are typically Friday end, but that's more populated and probably better space. So there is an idea, or there's an appetite to put IoT/MUT operation specification into the Ops area IoT Ops working group, and that is being discussed. So there's a proposal. I don't know if it will become an agenda item in this IETF. I assume it will be, but that is for you here to know, and this could be an upcoming change. I think that's interesting. We have actually we have 3 adopted documents. One just expired. That is one problem here, that IoT Ops has very interesting documents. Actually, everybody voices interest, but then there's only the sole contributor that is, of course, always overloaded with that. So we have to fix it a little bit, but maybe doing the charter and the fixing goes hand in hand. So any questions about that? If that's not the case, I can go to my favorite rodent enthusiast working group, rats. We're doing something bad in rats, and it's all this CA browser forum's fault. You know, it's all their fault. So there was this thing, this mandate, this ask to the IETF to do to create some CSR extensions. CSR is a one, you know, extension for remote attestation evidence there. Not attestation results, which would be like super useful immediately, but no, the evidence that can be quite heterogeneous. And not good enough that you can put any OIDs now there. There's good news. You can also put OIDs in there that are then a conceptual method wrapper, which is a CBOR item. And you have even more fun because we have two of them. We have a very old one defined by TCG that's like 2 years old. We have the very new one that's in working group Let's Call right now. It is a set of conceptual messages, and there can be other fun. So look into the ID for more details here. But the bad thing that happens also due to that is not only we can stick a CA or CMW there. No, there is a new ID called PKIX evidence, which defines a one structure for the EAT claims that are defined in RADS. And you can unpack from that statement whatever you want. I'm not a huge fan. It is, of course, allowed because there's a so-called bow tie diagram where it's basically any format in, any format out. That's how evidence works. We are very sorry about this. So homogenization is on the end of the pipe, where the attestation result lives and where the verifier consumes inputs. But the evidence created by the hundreds of systems today is diverse. And unfortunately, with the CSR attestation draft in LAMS, there's now an PKX and ASIN1 evidence draft in the IETF. It's a little bit funny. It's a little bit sad. It's a little bit anti-IoT. But here we are. So maybe it's just okay, and it helps the dialogue a little slower death, and so is that. But the other interesting discussion we have is that when we do something for CWT, like a UCCS, that is an unprotected CBOR claim set, the authors thought, or people in RADS thought, that it's a good idea to give some informative information about that in an appendix, how to do the JSON. But this causes a lot of pushback. In ISG, that is not super surprising, but the informative nature in a standard stack document should have protected that content, but there's a discussion there. That's, of course, because you want to transition between JSON and CBOR more seamlessly. And if we keep it up to the Jose working group or some other to deprecate the null and define a unprotected JSON claim set, sure, but it might not be symmetric. Nobody's forcing that in the informative appendix when we include it here, and that helps, to be honest. But yeah, let's see how ISG works with that. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. That will be in the current days to find out. But this is my IoT news, so to speak, from RADS. We have anti-IoT stuff, and we have interesting discussions on how to synchronize JSON Web Tokens or JSON structures with CBOR structures. And that's basically, I think, the interesting parts for here.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Hank, for the update in both working groups. Some comments or questions? Okay, thank you very much as well to the minute takers. And so if there is no more comments or questions, I think we can conclude the meeting. Okay, so thank you, everyone, and have a nice trip to Dublin. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. This was very useful. Bye. See you there.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.